Hi everybody, it's me again. Now before you unplug your computer or smash it and start running from the room, come on, give me a break, huh? Just listen for a little bit, alright? It's kind of a very strange political system that's going on situation that's going on out there right now. We had Warren drop out, and she's becoming one of the things that she really doesn't like in life, and that's a power broker. Because she has the ability to stand in an office and say, well, I'll support Biden or Sanders, therefore put them near the top again, and and remove them from the competition a little bit. I don't know exactly what her strengths would be in a situation like that, other than I think it's just the delegates that would switch over to that person, and I think they will switch to that person regardless of what she does, because I don't think that they're really happy with a lot of the situations. I've read some articles that tell you that a third-party candidate, cannot succeed, which is why they say Bernie's running as a Democrat rather than as an independent, because they don't do well historically in presidential elections. I think the closest one that ever came was Teddy Roosevelt when Woodrow Wilson won the presidency. So that's a long time. What was that, 1912? God, I wasn't even born yet. That's right, people. I'm not quite that old yet. Anyhow, I found that they say a third party can't succeed, and I have found that a great many young people are just like I was when I was much younger when I didn't vote, because I had gotten tired of the situation where you were constantly voting for the lesser of two evils, and I don't think that the people want to do that anymore. I don't think young people want to do that, and I think that's what if it boils down to somebody like Biden versus Trump, I don't think you're going to see a lot of young people go out screaming out there just to get rid of Trump or just to support Trump, because I think, Trump got elected on the basis that the people were tired of the political system because it wasn't getting things accomplished. And it wasn't Trump that wasn't getting things accomplished. It was Mitch McConnell in the Senate that were putting plugs in everything and stopping things because they were strictly 100% partisan. I mean, Biden and McCain are probably the last two politicians that knew how to work together and were willing to compromise on various issues. I don't think just looking at what I'm seeing right now, nobody's willing to compromise because, one, they hate Trump with an absolute passion if they're a Democrat, and even some Republicans do that. And two, they're afraid the Republicans are absolutely afraid to go against Trump, which, he's just a man. He's not a demigod. He's not the second coming of Jesus Christ. He's not even the third coming of Jesus Christ. He's a problem for the world, and I don't know whether or not the world is going to do anything about it. I do realize that if we don't come up with some sort of individual to run against Trump, that Trump will get reelected, and I'm fairly certain that right now it looks like that's just a foregone conclusion. Now, what he does when he gets reelected remains to be seen. If the Republicans lose control of the Senate and the House, then it's quite likely that you will see this man get impeached. And I mean removed from office, because that would be the first thing they do. It's like with the Republicans, if Biden accepts the nomination, they're going to come after him and his family. I mean, I can see him spending from to election day, his time from becoming the nominee to election day, just in the Senate defending himself against all sorts of interrogations and whatnot. That's the way Trump plays. Trump's not a nice guy, He was in the news again today. He got rid of, what was the guy? He got rid of Mick Mulvaney and put in Mark Meadows as his chief of staff. Well, maybe Mulvaney can sell him some of his monogram shirts. After all, they have the same initials, M and MN. I think it stands for Mickey Mouse. Trump surrounds himself with yes men. The old cliche in business, the executives always want yes men surrounding you and they don't want to be disagreed with. Well, that's Trump. He doesn't want to be disagreed with, so he surrounds himself with yes men. And that may work in business. I'd have to look at all the people that surround Bezos and Gates and what have you. I know in Apple it was true that he only wanted the yes men around him. But if you don't sit and listen to but no more than you're not going to be a great leader. Sooner or later you're going to make this colossal mistake that's going to cost the world millions of lives. And the problem that you have with Trump is he doesn't think anybody's smarter than him. He doesn't think anybody knows more than him about anything. I mean, and it's an example of this virus that's going around. He's not really paying attention to it. He's not concerned. I mean, he's out playing golf now. Costing Americans millions of dollars. Constantly he is in Florida, and the virus is in Florida. Well, that's another story. But his people are the same way. There was one lady that they showed on CNN that said that the virus doesn't exist. There's no such thing. It's a hoax. It's like the people that deny climate change. It's a hoax. Now, I could get into that if the people that were the scientists and whatnot that know about this stuff, which know those, pardon me, they obviously know more than I do, and probably most of us that are on this listening to this video. But if you go out and you see the numbers, you say 90% of the scientists say the virus exists, 90% of the scientists say climate change exists. Actually, I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 97% of the scientists. Well, then that's a problem. 50-50? Maybe there's a chance this is all, bullshit. But it's 90 to 10, or even 60 to 40. You gotta go with the guys that know what they're talking about. But Trump doesn't believe them, because he believes he knows better, and he does it not to his advantage economically to support climate control or climate crisis. I'm sorry. It just as it's not to his, it's not economically beneficial to him to support the virus vaccinations and everything right now. Maybe down the road it will be, and he'll change his mind again, which, he does on a daily basis. That's the biggest problem in the country right now, is you have a leader that changes his mind because his left testicle twitched, There's just nothing good there. I mean, he's never been considered a good person. So, that ego is going to cause us a lot of grief. And unfortunately, I believe right at this particular moment that there's nobody that can beat him. There were CNN analysts that said, they should nominate Bloomberg because he can beat him. Well, he can buy more than Trump can, but he can't beat him. The reason he showed up so badly in it is because people don't want him. They don't want another Trump. The Democrats aren't going to vote for anybody that comes close to being another Trump. Just like they hate Bernie because Bernie is so anti-establishment. It's like how the people felt about you used to go into you're driving on the Ohio Turnpike back about 1961, 62, in the 60s someplace, and your hair is down to your shoulders, and you get pulled over for a traffic stop, and they cut your hair before they let you go, because they hate hippies. This is what's going on with Bernie. They hate his philosophies. I'm not sure they can work. I don't think they're economically feasible, to be quite honest. I think it would cause the country, such a drastic reversal of policies would cause the country such a massive debt and whatnot. I think if the next president goes in and he's not Trump, they should try to fix Social Security, bolster it up, get some of the money back that Reagan stole from it back then, and see what, maybe they can make it maybe they can use the Medicare to help poor people and whatnot. That would be a joke, though. They don't care about people my age, and they don't care about people, unless they're a politician. Of course they care, they care about themselves because they're all my age, I had a friend of mine say to me, why are you so against older people in office? And I said, well, I said, one of the things that keeps me alive and keeps me mobile is talking to kids. I learn stuff when I talk to kids. I learn about their beliefs, and I learn about everything else, and that's important to me, to learn, to keep my mind young. So I don't think these people in office care much about anything other than themselves and, their own little niche in the world. You ever watch a president, really watch a president in his first term? He spends 90% of his time trying to ensure that he'll be reelected for a second time. And then he gets in office the second time, and he may spend a couple of months trying to get some good things going, depending on the situation in the Congress and the Senate. And then he goes on vacation. Then he starts to do the goodbye tour for 2 to 3 years, There's something wrong with our system. I mean, I think that Trump is trying to change the system in the respect that the president used to be just a figurehead. The rest of the government did the governing. The president didn't do much except sign a bill here or there. He wasn't expected to cure cancer. Trump comes in and says, I'm going to proclaim this stuff. I'm going to do this stuff whether you want me to do it or not. And it gets done, And that's what people want to see. The people that say, I don't, there are many reasons why he'll get reelected, but we'll go into that as we go on and get closer to the situation, I'm starting to wander. My brain is starting to cloud up again because, I'm old, man. It used to be when I was young, it was the marijuana. Now it's just I'm old. All right, so listen, have a great day. Maybe I'll be back tomorrow. I don't know. I have to come up with a blog to write tomorrow, but we'll see you. Bye.